What's up, party people? G5 Productions in the place to be. Superman first class in the mix. Today I'm going to show you guys how I converted a microphone rack into a PA system at a wedding. Very high-end wedding. Let's get it. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm Gerald, happy to share with you guys once again. I'm gonna break down this microphone rack and show you guys how I use it as a PA system. Now, to give you guys a little bit of a backdrop, traditionally I would set up what I call the Kraken. It's a digital mixer in a box with other stuff like microphones and whatever that I usually use with a single speaker or sometimes two speakers at the wedding ceremony portion. And then in the reception, I usually have my full-blown DDJ with some subs and tops, plus some dance floor lighting, and that's how I rock it. So two separate systems usually going on right there when people get married outside and a reception indoors. Now, in this case, we had two systems, but it was kind of a flip-flop situation. The wedding took place in the chapel, but the dinner and all of the special dances took place outside underneath the tent, and then the party took place back in the chapel where the ceremony was. So in that case, what I did was set up the full-blown DJ system with the dance floor lighting. I had the lighting unplugged, of course, for the ceremony. I ran it with a single microphone. I just used the lapel microphone for the ceremony. And then, of course, I was able to flip that lapel mic into a handheld mic later when it was time for the partying and dancing. But down below where the dinner was, I needed a microphone there for toast and announcements because that's where the special dances was going to take place.
And unlike a traditional sister.
So what I decided to do there was not have the Kraken down there. It was an opportunity to do a new thing. So I took this microphone rack right here and I converted it over to make it into a PA system. So I have these 50-foot cables, it's for them to go out to the speakers. Now the speakers that we used were the Bose S1 because they are battery powered and gives us about 11 hours of runtime, and that's plenty of time for a wedding of any type really. Yeah, let's go ahead and break this thing down. So before we get into it, please smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you want to keep up with all these videos, just rock that bell. Let's get into our setup. What's in the bag? Well, in addition to the 50-footers, we also had some 50-foot extension cables and stuff like that just in case. But in this bag, I got two 25-foot cables right here as just in case. I got a 15-foot extension cable for convenience. I got the phone with DJ2 on it, and I have the Yamaha MG06X. So there we go. I'm gonna put the bag down. And then of course, right here's the mic rack. So let's just go ahead and first get into what's in the back of the case, and then I'm gonna flip it around and show you guys how quickly and conveniently we hook this up. So in the back, I just simply unhook both latches, okay? And got two microphones already stored back here. So put those to the side for now. And I got the main power for the power strip on the bottom. I have another harness that I built to power the phone and get audio from the phone into the mixer there. So we're gonna flip that around, and then I have one more harness here that's all related to the mixer. So I have an XLR for a mic, I have a jack for the other microphone, I have two leads here for the phone that goes into the mixer, and of course power for the mixer. So let me flip this around to the front end so you guys can see what I'm working with there. In the front end of the case is very simple. The antenna's already mounted to the antenna distro. This thing provides antenna power to up to 4 microphones, and then the 5th output for antenna jumps over to say another antenna distro if I wanted to daisy chain mic racks, right? But here's where I took out 2 mics and put the power strip in, and we have the power for the mixer plugged in right in the front for this convenience plug because it made sense. Everything fits without having to unplug it and store it sideways so the front cover can fit. It was just like a quick setup, and I removed the plastic from this hole cover in here so I could run the cable through and plug it into the mixer. To get power to the system, I took the main cable for the power strip and I actually ran that around to the front. So if I'm standing here as an operator, right, all the cables are running towards me so the audience didn't get to see, any cables hanging off the back of the table, right? That's just how I ran it. And we're gonna now deal with the harness for the mixer. I got a XLR and 1/4-inch jack for 2 microphones. I just wanted to highlight the fact that these first 2 are combo jacks. So that's the cables I had available for this setup. So that's what I used. But here's an XLR for 1. and here's the combo jack for the other mic. So 2 mics are taken care of. These 2 cables here are for the phone's audio on channels 5 and 6. And then lastly, we had the power for the mixer. Now the other thing I needed to do was take my harness for the phone and just bring it around to the front end. I operated DJ2 on this phone just like this, right in front of it. So guests didn't see that too much, and it was a nice clean cut look. So the guests didn't see all my cables and everything. I just basically took the rear cover and I was able to effectively latch one side of it with no interruption. But because the cables actually come out of here, obviously I couldn't do that. So I just made sure I positioned everything as flat as I could get it. And then I used this bungee hook in the front here. I went around this handle a couple of times to make it nice and tight, and I hooked it into the latch. So from the rear view, what the guests saw was a nice clean cut cover on the back. So they didn't get to see the back of the case with all the cables exposed. The mixer was right there, nice clean cut look. And as far as any microphones go, all of this system actually, we turned on the power strip. And as the microphones powered up, we were able to scan everything, sync everything. Now, one microphone was for the guests or anybody who was gonna say toast, so I didn't have to keep running back and forth. And one microphone was for me to speak. So that was the convenience of having this system. I had a mic to say, and now John is gonna speak, and now Linda is gonna speak, right? So there you go. And then of course, everything that wasn't used was just simply put away. This was sitting on a table like this on a black tablecloth, so it really blended in nicely. And that was it. So what actually happened when it was time to recover this system? Well, the way I recover systems is, one, I make sure that my master volume is turned all the way down. I went to one speaker, I unplugged the audio cable after I turned it off, and I recovered that speaker and that stand, and I brought it back to this table because I had the cover for the speaker stands underneath the table, and the cover for the Bose S1 speaker was underneath there. Then in order for me to recover that cable, I made sure it was stretched out straight from my position behind the table to the other end, and I was able to take this reel and recover that cable to me, right? So it was a very efficient recovery. And then I just pretty much did the same thing on the other speaker. I went over to it, turned it off, unplugged the audio cable, stretched the cable, then I recovered that speaker and that stand, brought it here, put the stands in the bag, put the speaker in this bag, so those are stacked, and then I recovered the other cable to me just the same. So I wind up back with this system right here. Now, as far as the rest of the system go, now that my speakers are off, there's not going to be any pop sounds when I disconnect power from this mixer here. So I just turn that off, right? And as far as the mixer go, I just simply unplug everything. So here's all of the harnesses for that. The phone right here simply gets unplugged, and now we can recover everything. So just like when I started, my mixer was in this little bag here. I put the phone in my backpack actually, but this is a good place to put it as well. And of course, any cabling that I'm using, I make sure that it's in the bag, but not up against any knobs, but on the back of the mixer, just like that. And so there it is, okay? So that way it's nice and easy to deal with. Now, because I knew I was gonna be using this system in the near future at another event that required this type of setup, I just recovered it the same way I set it up. So there's the antennas. I get to take the front cover here. It's the one with the label, but both covers do fit front or back. It doesn't really matter like that. And then I'm gonna remove the bungee cord from the side here so you guys see what I'm doing. So here's the bungee. And the way I'm gonna store this bungee is I could just store it in the back, but I know how I think. I will probably be looking for it regardless, trying to figure out where it is. So I just attach it to the side right there. But here are my 2 microphones. I do sanitize before I recover the microphones, right? So I have wipes in my Moss Black pack accordingly for that, right? And so now I'm gonna go ahead and take off the rear cover, and I'm gonna flip this around so you guys can see exactly what I'm doing here. So here's the back once again. As far as any harnesses go, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the power cable. So let's roll this up really, really small like so. And then that way I get to store it accordingly right in here. And the idea is not to smash anything important, any buttons, break off any BNC cables or whatever. And here's the other stuff just kind of fitting in place. Matter of fact, here's the mixer harness. So I'm gonna roll that, put it in there. And here's the iPhone harness. I'm just gonna roll that and put it in there. Now, so I don't have to fight with storing these microphones and trying to deal with the case cover, I'm gonna just let gravity do the work. So here we go, making life simple for myself by putting one mic there, and now we need the top cover. So here it is. Or the rear cover, I should say. So just that simple. And as far as the bungee cord, again, I don't wanna have to look for that. So I just put this hooked into one latch, wrap it around a couple of times, hook it over to the other latch with the hooks facing inward. We don't want it to get snagged on me or anything else for that matter. And this system is recovered. So there it is, there it is. 2 speaker stands, 2 Bose S1s, mission accomplished, right? So that's the way I rocked it. And what are your questions? Leave me some comments down below. What do you think about this setup? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Either way, let me know. Now, to support G-Fire Productions, all you got to do is smash that like button, subscribe to this channel to help our community grow. And if you want to keep up with all these cool videos, all you got to do is rock that bell.